us a little bit your name and where you live, and then tell us what you wanted to hear.
Okay, so my name's Grace. I'm 22 years old. I'm a senior at University of Georgia, and I live in Fulton County.
Okay.
So I came here to tell y'all my experience when I went and voted in person.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I went and I voted in person on October 23rd with my younger sister, who was a first-time voter. And when I went to check in and give them my license and verify my identity to get my voter card, I was told that there was an absentee ballot already out for me. But I never requested one. I've never voted absentee. I always go vote in person. And I had to sign an affidavit saying that I did not request an absentee ballot. So I got my voter card, I voted in person, everything went fine after that. The next day, my mom called the voter center and was told that somebody voted absentee in my name on October 7th. We don't know who that is, and we haven't gotten any answers about that since. And on October 28th, I filled out an open records request for the Fulton County Voter's Office. I received an email from Fulton County Registration Chief, Mr. Ralph Jones, and I called him. He asked about my experience, and he told me he was going to further investigate the situation and get back to me with more answers. On November 3rd, his assistant, Mariska Bodison, emailed me to say that my request was given to the Secretary of State's office for further investigation. I haven't heard anything else from either of them. Then I got an email from my dad's friend and lawyer, Mr. Bob Cheeley. I spoke with Mr. Cheeley on November 19th on the phone, and he wanted to know how the investigation was going. And I didn't know, so I tried to call around to find out more answers for him. And I couldn't get anyone on the phone. Once I did, in the Secretary of State's office, nobody had any answers for me. They hadn't seen my open records request, and they had no answers about how the investigation was going. Later, I spoke with Sharon Griffin in the elections office at the Secretary of State, but she couldn't tell me anything either. I never got another call back, and at this point, I was knowing that I was getting the runaround from everybody. November 23rd, I received an email that my open records request was never received by the Secretary of State's office and was asked to submit another one on their website. And I did so and emailed the officer back and told him that I did. There was no name attached to that email. It was just open records officer. On November 30th, and of this email read, "This will serve as the final response to this request, and your request is now closed." We tried to call the Secretary of State's office again and couldn't get anybody on the phone. So I am left with still no answers. No one will answer the phone or call me back. And I want to know ultimately if my vote was counted or if the vote that was voted for me scratched my vote out.
That's a good. Thank you. Wow. Senator Jollisall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Can you tell me your name again?
I'm Grace.
Grace, thanks for being here, Grace.
Thank you.
Can you clarify?
For me scratched my vote out.
That's a good. Thank you. Wow. Senator Jollisall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Can you tell me your name again?
I'm Grace.
Grace, thanks for being here, Grace.
Thank you.
Can you clarify for me what happened? And I don't think I caught it. Were you able to vote in person?
Yes, sir.
Was it a provisional ballot or was it a regular ballot as far as you know your vote was counted?
As far as I know, it was a regular ballot.
Thank you. Did you have the opportunity to go onto the My Voter page to see when you allegedly requested your absentee ballot, when you allegedly voted by absentee? Have you had a chance to do that yet?
No, sir. I haven't gotten anything. When my mom called the voter center, she was told by someone on the phone that an absentee ballot was cast in my name on October 7th.
Great. Maybe, I think we're going to have a break, Mr. Chairman. I'd love to plug your information in here. I don't want you to announce your date of birth to the world, but you can come enter it here. I'd like to
Okay.
to see this, because you are not the first person that we have heard of
Right.
that has had this happen. And this, to me, is probably some of the most discouraging tescony.
Yes, sir.
This is probably your first or second presidential election you've had the opportunity to vote in, depending
This
on
is
when
my
your birthday
second one.
is.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get this right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we need to figure this out, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Senator Jordan.
Number 7. When you went and they said you've requested an absentee ballot, of course you didn't have it with you. Did you have to execute an affidavit saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then they gave you a card and you were able to vote on the machine, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then in terms of when did you vote? When did you go vote?
October 23rd.
Okay. Yeah, I concur with Senator Dolezal that I think we need to check your My Voter stuff and
Yes, ma'am.
and try to figure out what happened here.
Thank you. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we will take a 15-minute break. We've been going for a long time, and we will reconvene